back to my channel. So today, as you would have seen by the title, I am doing a Q&A, and I thought what better way to answer all of your questions than by eating some food. So currently in Australia right now, it is Sunday morning, so I thought what better breakfast to have than pancakes. I asked you guys to ask me some questions on my Instagram, so today I'm just going to go through as many questions as I can and answer those for you. So sit down, relax, and enjoy. So first question is, how much protein should I be consuming per day? So with clients, I prescribe 2 to 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. That's usually what I stick between. However, at the end of the day, it always comes down to the individual, the client themselves. So I sometimes have clients who prefer having a lot of protein in their diet. So because of this, I may bump up their protein to 2.5 grams per kilo of body weight. But then I have clients on the other end of the spectrum who could be vegan, so therefore they really struggle to hit their protein. So then I would reduce their protein down to 1.6 to 1.7 grams per kilo of body weight. Question number 2 is, when training, do you increase weight on every exercise every single week? So when you are training and following a program, the aim of the game is to progressively overload. So essentially getting stronger. If we're getting stronger, that is one of the best indicators to know if we are building lean muscle mass, which is usually what most of us want. So ideally in a program, you should be aiming to increase the weight every single week with your exercises, but sometimes that's not always possible. So there are other ways to progressively overload. For example, increasing the reps, increasing by an additional set, and slowing down the tempo. So like I said, ideally you do want to be increasing weight every single week, but if you can't, using the other methods like increasing by a set, increasing the reps, or slowing down the tempo will also help you progressively overload. Let's have some pancakes. I have some Muscle Nation casein custard to drizzle over this to give it a little bit more flavor. So I'm very excited. Oh my God, you guys. Oh. Unreal. Unreal. Let's have a bite first, as I've been hanging for this all morning. Look at the layers. I'm actually going to cut it. Oh, and I'm going to show you guys. Damn, it's going to get messy. Oh, guys, that is unreal. Yum! All right, let's have a bite, and then I will answer some more questions. So good. Yum, yum, yum. All right. Question number 3. What is the best way to grow your glutes? So there is no best way to grow your glutes or best exercise to grow your glutes. You want to be doing a facet of things to be able to grow your glutes, or any muscle group for that matter. So what I would suggest you do is having an array of exercises. So don't just stick to one exercise. Do lots of different exercises that activate your glutes. So whether that's hip thrusting, squatting, lunging, frog pumps, glute abductors, lots of different exercises so you can target your muscle in a slightly different way. Okay, so that's one point, is don't stick to the same exercise. Use heaps of different exercises in your program. A second thing I would do is increase your volume. So when I have clients who are wanting to grow their glutes, or any muscle for that matter, I like to train that muscle around 2 to 3 times per week, because the more you're training that muscle, the more it's going to grow. Another thing that I would also advise you guys doing is changing the reps. Don't just stick to the same reps and sets every single week. Change it up. Do some heavy sets. Do some light sets where you're doing 15 to 20 to 30 plus reps. Mixing it up with the reps is going to really help you grow your glutes. And another thing as well is slowing down the tempo and changing your tempos up. So don't just stick to the same tempo. Slow down the eccentric so you can really feel that burn. Next question is, how much fats do you generally prescribe a client? So again, like I said, everything comes down to the individual and their personal preference. Ideally, I like to favor carbohydrates over fats because carbohydrates is our preferred energy source when we are training. But again, I have clients that prefer foods that contain more fats rather than carbohydrates. So from an adherence perspective, this is when I would prescribe more fats. But if I had it my way, I will always have carbohydrates as their predominant energy source because like I said, it is our preferred energy source when we are training. So with fats, I like to prescribe around 25 to 30% of their total calories or around 1 gram per kilo of body weight. All right, let's have another bite. Yum, guys. This is the no-shoe pancakes. This is actually the first time I've tried them and they're really good. They are a little bit bland, so I would definitely pop some toppings on it, but it is really good though, nice and fluffy. Yum. So good. All right. Next question. What's your current training split and goals at the moment? So for me, my current training split has been the same for a very long time. I'm currently training 5 days per week, 3 lower body sessions and 2 upper body sessions. At the moment, my goal is just to transition back into a gaining phase to continue to grow and create more shape to my body. I was planning on competing in July, however, because of COVID-19, that was cancelled, which is totally fine. It just means that I just have a longer time to, you know, sit in a gaining phase and continue to grow and create more shape to my body. I really have to grow all over. So I need to grow my back, my shoulders, my glutes, my quads, my hamstrings, everywhere. So more time for me to spend in a gaining phase, I'll take it. And being in a gaining phase means more food. So you guys know me, I freaking love my food. So I definitely cannot complain. Next question is, will meeting your prescribed protein targets result in visible physical changes to your body? So yes, 100%. That is the one macronutrient that I hound my clients to hit every single day. Protein is so important. It is the building blocks in building lean muscle mass. So if you're not having enough protein every single day, that is going to impede that progression to grow. Especially if you are in a calorie deficit. You have to think if you're in a calorie deficit, you are eating under what you are expending per day. So in order to help preserve the lean muscle that you do have, this is when protein is so important to be consuming per day, because it's going to help retain the lean muscle that you do have when you are dieting down. So protein is a must, guys, to help build that lean muscle, but also to retain the lean muscle that you do have as well if you are dieting down. All right, next question is, how do you manage staying on track with your food while going out or going to regular family occasions? So when eating out, I would definitely suggest going to places that display the macronutrient breakdown and calories of their menu. So places like Grilled, that's my go-to. I always go to Grilled because it's really easy for me to track and then enter into MyFitnessPal. Subway's also really good. GYG's also really good. But yeah, going to places that display the calories and macronutrient breakdown of their menu just makes things 10 times easier when eating out. If you go to places that don't display the calories and macronutrient breakdown on their menu, that's totally fine, but this is when I would probably reach for something on the menu that is easy to break down. So when eating out, don't select something on the menu that is the most extravagant and crazy, because the more crazy and extravagant the food is, the harder it is to break down. So definitely when you are eating out and you're going to places that don't display the macronutrient breakdown of their meals, this is when I would reach for something on the menu that is easy to break down yourself and enter into MyFitnessPal. But when you are going to family occasions, I know it can be really hard to try and stay on top of your goals when, you know, you're surrounded by people that may not necessarily understand why you're tracking your macros. I get it. I used to be like that, but I guess with time, with me tracking my calories and macronutrient targets for such a long time, my family kind of understands. So my piece of advice would probably be just to maybe ask at least a day in advance what you are having at that occasion, so you can roughly track and estimate and enter into MyFitnessPal what you're going to be consuming at that occasion. If you don't know what you're going to be eating, this is when I would just estimate the total calories you think you're going to be consuming. If your goal is fat loss, you would rather overestimate than underestimate, because at the end of the day, those calories do add up whether you do account for them or not. So just to cover your bases, I would highly suggest overestimating how many calories you think you're going to be consuming, just to play it safe. All right, let's go for another bite. So good with the custard. Yum, yum, yum. All right, next question is a bit of information on diet breaks, what they are, and why and when you would use them on a client. So diet breaks is when you bring someone up to their maintenance calories for 1 to 2 weeks. So I like to diet break my clients for heaps of reasons. It's not just for physical, but it's also for psychological reasons. So when someone is dieting, you guys have to understand that it is really taxing on the body. You essentially are eating under what you're expending every single day. So you have to think that your body is running on less than what it should. When you diet break someone, you bring someone up to their maintenance calories. So this is when your body is able to have a break from dieting, able to rest, restore, recover, and help with those metabolic adaptations. So when you do diet down again, your body is more restored and ready to continue to push forward in their deficits. I also like to diet break someone from a psychological reason. If they are feeling really run down, tired, if their adherence is starting to drop off quite consistently, this is when I would give someone a diet break, just to give them a break from dieting and give them a little bit more food flexibility. Another reason why I would diet break someone is if it's their birthday, or if they're going on a holiday, or any sort of special occasion, just to give them more food flexibility. This is when I would bring them up to maintenance calories and diet break them, so they don't have to stress out about making sure everything fits. So there's a lot of reasons why people do diet breaks. I don't just do it from a physical perspective, but also from a mental as well. I love diet breaks. I use them a lot with my clients, and I just think that they're a fantastic tool to use when you are dieting down. Next question is, is it okay to eat the same thing every day, or should we change it up? So I do flexible dieting, and all of my clients do flexible dieting. So if you guys aren't sure what flexible dieting is, it is a dieting strategy where you essentially can eat anything that you please, as long as you are hitting your prescribed protein target, your prescribed carbohydrate target, and your prescribed fat target. So you can eat what you wish, just as long as you are still ticking those boxes every single day. So even though flexible dieting gives you the ability to eat what you please and be able to change up your meal plans every single day, I do still advise my clients to have consistency. So from Monday to Friday, I get my clients to aim to stick to the same meal plan all week, just so it's one less thing to stress about. If you're constantly trying to change up your meal plan every single day and seeing what foods fit, it just gets way too complicated. And if it's too complicated, it's going to increase the margin of error. And if we are constantly making errors and we're not accounting for, you know, these calories that are coming in that you aren't aware of, this essentially could impede your progression, where for that week you could either just maintain your weight for the week and therefore no fat loss, or you could even put yourself in a surplus where you may have gained some weight. So yes, even though flexible dieting allows you to eat what you wish, I do advise my clients to eat the same thing Monday to Friday so we can keep that consistency and it decreases the margin of error. There also was another question just after it that was quite similar, which was, does it actually matter what time of the day you eat your meals, or is it beneficial to make sure you get all the meals into your day regardless of the time? So our bodies love routine. So if you are sticking to a similar eating schedule every single day, this is going to really help with your hunger levels. So for me, I am very structured. I eat around the same times every single day. So when it is coming up to the time of when I'm meant to eat next, that is when I'm starting to get hungry. But any other time outside of that is when I'm not that hungry, because my body has become accustomed to my eating routine, my eating schedule. So my body knows when it's going to be fed again. So no, you don't necessarily have to be eating the same times every single day, but I would advise that you do, because our bodies do love routine, and it's going to help with your hunger if you are sticking to the same eating schedule every day. All right, let's get into a little bit more. I have only had half. I'm actually getting kind of full, which is a first. I think it's because I'm doing lots of talking between each bite. So good, honestly. Get some custard. I hope you guys are having a good day or night if you're watching this. And I hope you are taking away some knowledge, which is always good. Alright, let's get stuck into the questions. I think we have about 3 more. Let me just swallow my food first. Should I eat before I train? Now, this is a very good question. And to be completely direct, yes or no, yes, I would advise my clients to eat before they train. But as I always say, everything comes down to adherence. So if you are training first thing in the morning, let's say 4:30 a.m. and you have to get up at 4 a.m. or maybe even 3:30 a.m., I wouldn't expect you to get up even earlier than that just to get in a meal before you train. So for my clients that do train first thing in the morning, I don't push them to eat a meal before their training session. I'm more than happy for them to train fasted. If they are training fasted, this is when I would suggest my client to eat some form of carbohydrates and protein at dinner time the night before, so they have some energy for their session. But if you can eat before your sessions, I would highly advise you do. I would definitely have some form of carbohydrates and protein, minimal fats, because fat slows the digestion process, which is what we don't want, because we want to be using those carbohydrates and protein for your session. So if you can eat beforehand, I would highly suggest you do. But if you do train first thing in the morning, don't feel like you have to, you don't need to. Yes, it may help you a little bit, but if you feel like you don't need to eat beforehand, then do not worry about it. I also have clients that don't like to eat before they train first thing in the morning because it makes them feel sick. That is totally fine as well. Again, you have to do what works for you and your lifestyle. So to cut a very long story short, if you can eat beforehand, I would highly suggest you do some form of carbohydrates and protein. But if you don't like to eat beforehand, that is also totally fine. Next question. How many times should you eat per day? Guys, you can eat as many times as you like. Do what works for you. For me personally, I eat 5 to 6 meals a day because that's just what suits me and my lifestyle. I don't like eating 3 meals per day because I feel like I would just get way too hungry. So for me, what works for me is eating 5 to 6 smaller meals per day. I've got clients that don't like eating 5 to 6 meals per day and they would prefer to eat 3 big meals per day. I do not care. You can do whatever works for you, whatever suits your lifestyle, whatever suits your schedule, just as long as you're hitting your prescribed targets. So how much protein you should be having per day, how much carbohydrates you should be having per day, and how much fats you should be having per day. I don't care how you formulate your meals, just as long as you are hitting your targets. All right, let's get into it. Who loves pancakes, honestly? So good. Are you a pancake or waffle gal? Let me know in the comments below. Pancakes or waffles? I'm definitely pancakes over waffles. I love waffles, but pancakes for the win. So good. All right. All right, we have one more question, guys. Okay. Tips on body image and letting go of fear of weight gain. So, body image is a very touchy subject with people, because I get it, like Instagram, social media, there's so much pressure these days to look a certain way. I get it. I felt like that sometimes as well. And my piece of advice would be is to honestly just stay in your own lane. You need to remind yourself that you will never look like anyone else. You are your own person. You have been created to look a certain way. Don't try and aspire to look like someone else. Aspire to be the best person of you. You know, I am a very big believer in, you know, being happy with how you are, but also aspiring to always improve every single day. So instead of looking at other people and trying to be like them, just focus on yourself, staying in your own lane, and focus on creating a better version of you. You also need to remember as well is that no one is ever going to look like you. And that is such a powerful and strong thing to really think about and just embrace about who you are as a person and all the amazing qualities that you do have. Yes, always strive to be better, but also you need to sit back and realize just how incredible you are as a person and all the amazing qualities and traits that you do have. So everyone needs to stop looking at other people and trying to aspire to be like other people. Just focus on you and how freaking awesome you are, and strive to be a better person of you every single day. She also asked at the end as well, the end of the question was fear of weight gain. So I'm assuming she's talking about when you're in a calorie surplus and you are aiming to grow more lean muscle. My piece of advice is just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I don't know a lot of people that are comfortable with having additional fat on their body. I most certainly am not. When I was in the peak of my gaining phase, did I feel really confident in myself? No, I did not at all. I felt very chubby. And you guys also have to understand as well that I have been comp lean, so I have been absolutely shredded. So when I know that I can get that lean and then I am at the other end of the spectrum where I'm a little bit chubbier, it is a little bit of a mental challenge for me to overcome. But you just have to continue to remind yourself that you're in this gaining phase for a purpose. If you want to grow more lean muscle than what you currently have in your body right now, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and sit in a gaining phase for a couple of months to really focus on growing and creating more shape to your body. So that's kind of what got me through my gaining phase, is just knowing that I am doing this for a purpose. I'm doing this for a bigger picture. So when I do step on stage again, I have a lot more muscle than what I did last time, and that it's going to be for a purpose. All right, so I am going to finish off with my last little pieces of pancakes. So good. little bit more custard. So good. All right, you guys, that is the end of the Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and you took a lot of valuable takeaways. If you have any other questions, please feel free to message me or drop the questions in the comments box below. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video.